First thing you want to do is make sure you have all your ingredients, okay? Here they are all lined out. You want flour. It can be all-purpose or self-rising. You're going to have a little bit of sugar. You're going to have some oil. Cooking oil, olive oil, either one, doesn't really matter. I like olive oil. You're going to have a little salt. You're obviously going to have your self-rising yeast. And make sure it's not expired. There's a date on top of it. Self-rising, quick-rising yeast. A little jar like this costs you $3 or $4. You can probably make 10, 20 loaves out of it. But flour, warm water, sugar, salt, yeast, and a little bit of oil. That's all you really need as far as ingredients. Got that ready? Okay, now here we go. This is going to be a simple single batch, not a double, just a single batch. You're going to do 2 to 1. 1 cup of water, 2 cups of flour. First thing you're going to do is your flour. Get your 2 cups of flour in there. You gotta be exact. This ain't Martha Stewart network. Get you about 2 cups of flour. Leave your flour right there because you're gonna need it in a little bit. Now, you want to get you some salt. We're doing your dry ingredients first. For a single batch, 2 cups of flour, we're gonna have 1 teaspoon of salt. That's a teaspoon of salt. Okay? That's all you do. Put your salt in your flour, and then you want to mix it up really good. When I say really good, I don't mean for an hour. I mean 10, 15 minutes. Just mix it up. Get the salt in the flour. That's it. Set to that side. You're done with that. Okay? Those are your dry ingredients. You're through. Now you want to get your wet ingredients. On your wet ingredients, you want to have your water running really hot. You know, there's a few things, just like everything is cooking, you tweak things. When I say hot, I mean hot. I don't mean scalding like it's going to burn your hand, but it's got to be more than just warm. You want hot water. We're making a single batch. So when I make a single batch, I use a 2 cup, because I'm gonna make 1 cup and then it's gonna rise up and come up to the top. If I was doing a double batch, I'd use a 4 cup and I'd put 2 cups of water because it's gonna double. We're doing 1 batch, so I'm gonna need 1 cup of water and then it's gonna double in size after I put my yeast and all that stuff in there and it activates. Gotta get the water warm. Don't take warm water and think you can put it in a cold glass that you just got out of the counter. Warm your holder up, just like you do a cup of coffee in the morning. Warm your cup of coffee up before you pour the hot coffee in. Warm your little bowl up here before you put your warm water in. I got mine pretty hot. Not that hot, but it's. We're not talking lukewarm, we're talking real warm. If you need to cut it, cut it. Let me start over because.
Okay, go ahead.
Ready? Mm-hmm. You got your warm water. Well, it's good and warm. A single batch, we're going to put a tablespoon, 2 tablespoons of sugar. Just, ain't gotta be science, just roughly 2 tablespoons of sugar. Very, very, very important right here. You have to 100% dissolve this sugar before you do anything else. Don't just stick it in there, stir it twice and say, yeah, we're good. It has to be completely dissolved so you have simple syrup, sugar, water. You know, 2 to 3, 10, 15 minutes. I mean, you know, it ain't not an hour, but 30 seconds. Just get it good and dissolved. very good and dissolved. Now, while that's still warm and you have your sugar completely dissolved, before it cools off, now you're going to get your yeast. Okay? Go to that yeast. Get you 2 of that same thing, 2 of those tablespoons, heaping big tablespoons. Put them in there, right in that warm sugar water, and stir it. And this is the most critical part of the whole deal. You have to stir this until you have it dissolved as best you can. And it takes a little bit. It might take a minute, it might take a minute and a half. You might have to press kind of the stuff up to the side. That yeast is going to want to try to clump up a little bit. You have to stir it and stir it and stir it. Get it all off your spoon. And this is where it just takes a little bit of, you're not going to get your first batch just right. You're going to have to do this a few times till you figure it out. How hot do I really need my water? How long do I need to stir it? If I sit here, okay, now we got our sugar dissolved 100%, and then we put our yeast in and stirred it until it's 100% dissolved. It's looking good. There's no lumps in it, and we're still good and warm. If you've stirred it too long or taken too long to do this, maybe stick it in the microwave 10, 15, 20 seconds. This has to be warm. Not hot, just warm. It's got to be warm. Take a towel, just a loose towel, lay it over the top, and put it somewhere in the kitchen or in where it's not in a draft. It's not a fan blowing on or a vent. Just somewhere and leave it alone. You're not going to touch it, move it around, and leave it alone. And it's going to take about 30 minutes. Put that loose towel over the top of it, you're good to go. All right? What we're going to do at this point is wait, basically, on that to rise, and it's going to take 20 to 30 minutes. You have to kind of keep an eye on it, and what it's going to do is double in size. When it gets up to the point where it actually starts pushing that towel off the top of that bowl, there you go. If it runs over that, it's fine. You get to that point, then we'll go next.
Stop. Okay.
Ready? Go. All right, so here we go. We have our activated yeast. Look that turned into this. See how it just grows. That's great. That's what you want. You got your dry ingredients. Remember, just your flour and salt. That's all it was. That's all you had in there. Nothing else. Take this, pour it right in there on top of it. Get out all that foam out. Get that yeast out. That's all the good stuff. Get all that out best you can. And then do not stick your hands in here like you're making biscuits. Do this with a spoon. Just kind of go from the edges, go around the edges. You don't want to beat this or work it to death. Just stir it around and kind of get it going. It'll start coming together. It's going to get real sticky and real gooey and look like, oh, what a mess. That's what you want, baby. Don't stick your hands in there. Don't overwork it. If you think you got it a little too wet, put a little more flour in it. I think I'm a little wet. Nah, maybe not. You just got to keep stirring. Get it up off the bottom, pull it off the sides. It's not something you're going to sit here and do for 20 minutes or something, or 5 or 10. No, just the least amount of time possible, the better. Just get it kind of going. Okay? That's all you want to do, right there. I know it looks messy, but then save all your yummies off the spoon. All that. You're good to go. I do mine because I keep my countertop clean. I put me about a half a cup, third a cup, something, just something where to keep everything from sticking. You want to put your piece of parchment paper down, you want to put a dry pan, that's fine, but I just put mine right on the counter. Then I take that dough I just mixed up, TV purposes here, I was trying to hurry a little bit, but you got to get it mixed up. And just roll it right out of there, right out of that bowl with a spoon, right onto that little pile of flour that you made. Get the best you can out of there. Like I said, don't stick your fingers in it because this is like glue right now. Get that off of there, off your spoon, save it. All right, you got that. You're sitting on your bed of flour. Now just kind of rake in that flour that you put on the counter. Try to kind of just roll it over. There's not a rocket scientist to this. I'm not pressing down hard. I'm being as gentle as I can. What I'm trying to do is just roll to keep from getting sticky. That's all I'm doing. Just, I know it looks messy, but hey, it's so good. Fold it, wrap it a few times or whatever. If it feels too sticky, take a little flour, throw it on there. Do it a little more, rake a little from the side. You don't want it to get too sticky. You don't want to overwork it. You're not trying to make it smooth. And we're not making biscuits here, okay? That's a whole different game. That's all you want to do is get it to kind of come to some kind of, you can handle, okay? It's all good, it's not sticking. I know it looks crazy, but that's all you want to do. Now, next big thing, take a little bit of flour, just a hair. It's what we call dusting the pan. I did that wrong. Put a little spray in there first, a little olive oil or whatever kind of oil you have. Spray your pan lightly. Put a little bit of oil, just enough to be able to dust the pan. You're shaking it around. If you've ever cooked anything in the world, you'll know what I'm talking about when I say dust the pan. If you don't, this is what it's called. What you're doing is just shaking the flour down the sides, top, bottom, everything, all the corners. You got oil on the bottom, then you put the flour in, shake it around, like all that, and then that's what it looks like. This is just so that when your bread will come out, okay? Take your loaf of bread. Remember, this is gonna rise, puff up, get bigger, it's gonna grow. So don't think when you put it in the pan, that's how it's gonna look, because that ain't how it's gonna look. Drop it right in there. Look, it ain't pretty, but wait till you see it come out. See you back here in just a little bit. Now hold on, one more thing I do. I might put a little spray of olive oil on top of mine. And then I'm gonna let it sit over here, covered up again with that same towel for about 20 minutes, maybe 30. When it puffs up to where you feel like it's as high as it's gonna get, it's time to go in the oven. See you back here in about 20, 30 minutes. Okay, so here we go. We've puffed up. Look at it, it's tripled in size. It's gonna get bigger than this, but it's probably not gonna get any larger until we put it in the oven. So this is where you gotta use your judgment after 2 or 3 times. Got the oven preheated, 350 degrees. About 20 minutes. I'll start watching it real close after that. Might take 25. 350 degrees, set it on 20, and then just kind of keep an eye on it. Okay, here we go. We're coming out of the oven with it. It looks absolutely about like I want it to be. I shake it a little bit, see how it just pops right out of that pan. Tells me it's done and it ain't sticking. Right onto a warm plate. And here we go. Now, right now, I'm gonna take a little bit of butter. This is the way I like it. You don't have to do this if you don't want to. I take a little butter and a little bit of olive oil. And a little sprinkle of salt. It's gotta be good Cajun salt from alligator country. That's what I do. Okay guys, here we go. This is my finished product. May not be my best work, but I'll guarantee you it's gonna be good. Some bacon, some ham, some sausage, honey. Oh, come on, baby. What you talking about? Butter on top. And I forgot to tell y'all, but throughout this whole process, you have got to stay hydrated. Make sure you stay hydrated. Drink plenty while you're cooking this. You're gonna love it. You got any questions? Give me a holler. I gotta get some butter on this before you do it.
Now.
Here we go, guys. This is the true test. This is what it's all about.
This is so delicious. Oh my goodness.
Make you slap your mama.
It's really good, y'all. You need to try it.